Good morning and welcome to Morning Maths. We're on day 47 now. You just need a pencil or pen and paper. Let's get started with year 3. Question 1 is 9 times 100. 9 times 100. So 9 times 1 would be 9. 9 times 100 is also 9, but 900 with 2 zeros. 9 with 2 zeros. 9 times 1 would be 9, but then you place these 2 zeros from the question on the answer and you get 900. Let's go to question 2. This is 349 plus 484. 349 plus 484. So pause if you need time to copy down the question. We first of all do 9 plus 4. 13. 4 plus 8 is 12, plus 1, 13. 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 1 is 8, 833. Because plus makes things bigger, doesn't it? 833. And we're on question 3. 400 minus 265. 400 minus 265. This is quite a tricky one because there's zeros on the top line. I think that's the hardest version you'll really get, is when there's zeros on the top line. Because 0 take away 5, we can't do. If you have no sweets, you can't take away 5. We have to get some help. 0 would try and get some help from here. There's none available, so we have to go right over here. The 4 goes down to a 3. The 1 comes over here. So it's 10. That goes down to a 9. And 10 goes here. 10 take away 5 is 5. 9 take away 6 is 3. 3 take away 2 is 1. So 400, when we took something away, it got smaller. It became 135. If you check with your number bonds to 100, 35 goes with 65 to make 100. Question 4. Oops, that's the answers. No point looking at the answers now because it's all about the workings. It's all about how to do the questions, not just looking up the answers. I could easily just look up the answers, but we wouldn't be learning anything then. 152 times 5. So we'll split 152 up into 100 and 50 and 2. 152, 152. We multiply each one by 5. So we just break the question up into parts that make it a little bit easier to do. And first, we have 100 times 5. You could count in hundreds. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. That was a little bit like question 1, which was 9 lots of 100. This was 5 lots of 100. 500. 50 times 5, I call this times tables in disguise. 5 times 5 is 25. With 1 0 in the question, we place it and we get 250. 2 times 5 is 10. So we had 3 parts to our answer. We can add up the 3 parts. They are lined up well enough for me to see. 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 5 plus 1 is 6. And 5 plus 2 is 7. 760. 760 is our answer. And we are on question 5. Question 5, there's lots of different ways to do it. If we sing our 8s up to 121, we'll go past the end of the 8 times table. If we do a number line counting up in 8s, we could do it, but it would take a long, long time. So in this case, I'm going to use the bus stop for 121 divided by 8. Going to use the bus stop. So, how many 8s in 1 is 0, carried a 1. How many 8s in 12 is 1, carried a 4. And how many 8s in 41? 8 and 16, 24 and 32, 40. I counted 5 fingers. I counted up to 40, but that says 41, so we have remainder 1. So that might be a bit tricky in year 3, the bus stop. The answer is 15, remainder 1. I'm going to go through it again a bit slower in case that's confusing for you. I think it's important to get this. So how many 8s fit into 1? Well, 8 is quite big compared to 1 and it can't fit in. So we say 0. And then we carry a 1 because we didn't use this 1. So we just carry it along there. So we don't need that anymore. We moved it here, didn't we? So we say how many 8s fit into 12. So then you sing your 8 times table, but you mustn't go past 12. So you go, look for an 8 and 16, and you've already gone past 12. So all you can say is look for an 8. And if you count on your fingers, there's one finger. I sang up to 8, and that says 12. So what you do then is find the difference between 8 and 12, just count it up in ones. So we don't count the one we start on, we go 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4 little jumps of 1. That's why we have a remainder 4. Then we sing how many 8s into 40. Look for an 8 and 16, 24 and 32, 40. I sang that on my fingers, and my fingers said it was 5. Got up to 40, but this says 41, not 40. So remainder 1 from the 41. So hopefully you're getting the hang of how to do that bus stop method, which really we need for these larger questions. Let's go on to question 6, year 4. 100 lots of 45. 100 times 45. In fact, I might switch it round, as you can in multiplication. 100 times 45 is the same as 45 times 100. But really, in fact, let's write that big. All you need to do, 45 times 1 would be 45. 45 times 100 would be 4500. You place those 2 zeros from here, you place them. 4500, otherwise known as 4500. Good. Question 7. You might have noticed how things are getting a little bit harder as we go along. Maybe you don't even notice it. You'll probably notice on question 10, it's more difficult to one we've done so far. But we're on question 7 for now, so a minus. 9 take away 5 is 4. 6 take away 4 is 2. 5 take away 3 is 2. 4 take away 2 is 2. That's funny. You know, I just said everything was getting harder. Then we come across the easiest minus we've done for a while, because there was no borrowing, no taking required at all. That actually was quite an easy question, wasn't it? They should generally be getting harder though over the days. So I'm slowly making the questions harder. Question 8, how many 5s in 3,895? Although I'm making things harder, we still do sometimes need to practice the easier things. Otherwise you forget how to do the easier things. How many 5s in 3? 0. We need to carry this 3 on. How many 5s in 38? Quite a few. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. I counted up to 7 fingers, which was 35. But this is 38. So there's a small remainder, 36, 37, 38, of 3. How many 5s in 39? We just did how many 5s in 38. We're doing how many 5s in 39. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 is 7. That was 35. Then there's a remainder of, we're counting up in ones, 36, 37, 38, 39, remainder 4. 45 is a very nice number. Do you know why? Because it's in the 5 times table. I'll sing my 5s up to 45. The answer will be on my fingers. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. It is 9. 779. Question 9. 5 lots of 7,834. Lots of is usually multiplication. I'm going to put the biggest number on the top in multiplication, because otherwise it gets quite complicated. So 5 times 4, 20. 5 times 3, 15, plus 2, 17. 5 times 8, 40, plus 1, 41. 5 times 7, 35, plus 4, 39. Big answer, 39,170. Commas go 3 from the end, 3 digits from the end. 39,170. As I always say, if you're not sure about the commas, just leave them out. Cross out those little ones. And we're on question 10. Now this is a bit different to normal, because bit of a red alert here. Part of the question's in meters and part is in centimeters. So you can't just do 1 plus 285. If you did that, then it will go wrong. Because 1 meter is not the same as 1 centimeter. In fact, how many centimeters are in a meter? It's 100. So I'm going to change that 1 meter into 100 centimeters and then add it to 285 centimeters. So I will get an answer in centimeters. Not too difficult to do that, but the answer is 385, not 286, because 1 metre is worth 100 centimetres. And the answer is therefore 385 centimetres. So we'll start doing a little bit of these converting questions, where something's in metres, something's in centimetres, and you've got to make a change before you can do your additions. Question 11, 1,000 times 5.65. This is moving method. I would just put 5.65 at the front, and I'm going to multiply it by 1,000 by making it 3 places bigger. 3 places bigger. That means I need to put it over here, because the big numbers go over here, don't they? This side of the decimal point. The other side is the decimals, the small numbers like decimals. So 3 places bigger, multiplying by 1,000. So 5 goes 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 5, and place a 0 to fill in any gaps. So we get 5,650. 5,650. I call that the moving method. Question 12. This is a bit of a crazy question. 3 million take away just 75. This is going to require a lot of borrowing. I'm trying to do it in my head while I write this down. I think it's going to be 2999925, I think, but I'm going to check it using column method. So 0 take away 5 we can't do. 0 needs to go all the way to the 3 to get help. And we go 10 down to 9 all the way across. One of the longest amounts of time you'll have to spend going across like this in a minus. So 10 take away 5 we can now do. That is 5. 9 take away 7, 2, and then it is 9s. So what I thought it was is correct. But I feel more confident having done it in my head and on paper, or in this case on computer. 2,999,925. So we have 2 million, because that's a millions comma, 2,999,925. That's how you say the numbers, in little sections between the commas. 2,999,925. Question 13. A long multiplication, 4,444 times 33. There'll be lots of 4 times 3 in this question, which is of course 12, but then we'll have the carried ones to worry about. So 4 times 3 or 3 times 4, 3 times 4, 12. 3 times 4, 12, plus 1, 13. 3 times 4, 12, plus 1, 13. 3 times 4, 12, plus 1, 13 again. That's that line done. Place a 0. 3 times 4, we're getting used to this, 12. 3 times 4, 12, plus 1, 13. 3 times 4, 12, plus 1, 13. 3 times 4, 12, plus 1, 13. Cross those ones out, and we just do our adding to finish off. The difficult thing on this might be remembering how many times you've done 3 times 4. So because of that, I'm going to do an estimate to see if I'm in the right area. I'm going to say this is roughly 4,000, and that's roughly 30. So my answer will be a bit bigger than 4,000 times 30. So I'm looking for something a bit bigger than 4,000 times 30, which is 4 times 3 in disguise, which is 12 and 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros. So it should be, I'm thinking, a bit bigger than 120,000. And it is 146,652. So my estimate is telling me that I've got the right number of digits. I'm happy with that answer. And we're on question 14. Divide £19 by 4. £19 by 4. I saw the way Mr. Groom did this in day 44. He showed you the 3 different answers, which I sometimes show you. I like to start with the decimal one, so I will, and then I'll show you the other 2 answers like Mr. Groom did. So, how many 4s in 1? 0, carried a 1. How many 4s in 19? 4, 8, 12, 16 is 4. Remainder 3. Don't forget the decimal point. How many 4s in 30? 7. Remainder 2. How many 4s in 25? 4.75. If you just did 19 divided by 4 and you wanted a remainder answer, you go 4, 8, 12, 16. So I say up to 16, my finger said that is 4, up to 16, but that's 19, so that's remainder 3. So one answer is 4.75, another answer is 4 remainder 3, And then you can always change a remainder into a fraction by just, it says 4 remainder 3, doesn't it? How you change it into fraction is you just rub out the r and you put the 3 over whatever you're dividing by. 4 3/4. So we have 3 different answers. And which answer you would like, if it's money, we definitely want 4.75. That's definitely the answer we want for money, £4.75. But if the question was not money, it was talking about sharing children into groups, you would say 4 children remainder 3, because you don't split children up into decimals or fractions, obviously. If you were talking about cakes or something, you might do 4 3/4, because cakes are often chopped up into fractions, aren't they? But anyway, when we're doing money, we want the decimal answer of £4.75. So you have to think about the question you're being asked in terms of what you're going to do with the remainder, if that makes sense. If it's money, decimals. If you're sharing out children, probably remainders. If you're sharing out cakes or pizzas, probably fractions. Let's go on to question 15. This one is similar to what the question year 4 had. Maybe some year 4s are still going. We've got 456 centimetres. We've got to add those to 5 metres and 7 metres. But 5 metres is, of course, 500 centimetres. And 7 metres is, of course, 700 centimetres. So be careful. They'll give you questions like this in tests. When you're adding centimetres to metres, you have to convert them first. You have to change one of them. In this case, I changed 2 of them. I changed the ones that were in metres. I put them in centimetres. I kept the centimetre one as it was because I decided to get my answer in centimetres this time. And that's what we get, 1,656 centimetres, otherwise known as 16.56 metres, because there's 100 centimetres in a metre. So if you divide this answer by 100, you get the metres answer, 16.56 metres. You could have either answer and you'll be correct. Right, let's go speedy on question 16 for year 6. £7 divided by 100. £7, 2 places smaller, 0.07 pounds. That's the answer in pounds, otherwise known as 7p. £7 divided by 100. Divided by 10, 700p becomes 70p, but divided by 100, it becomes 7p. Question 17. Add in 3,543 millilitres to 6.5 litres. Well, 6 litres is 6,000 millilitres. So that 6 will go in the thousands column. 6,000. 0.5, the 5 stays next to the 6. Everything's just got 1,000 times bigger when we change 6.5 into 6,500. So I've changed this into millilitres so I can make my addition work out. 4 and 10. 10,043. My answer's in millilitres. If you had a litre answer, you divide it by 1,000 and it would be 10.043 litres. 10.043. Because 10,000 millilitres is 10 litres, and then this 43 millilitres is very small when you're talking about litres. Let's go on. That was question 17, wasn't it? Let's go on to question 18. This is a large division question. 1792 divided by 32. I need my 32 times table. I'm going to do plus 32s, even though I know it'll be 64. And I know the next one will be 96. Gives me a nice double check. Next one, I'm not so sure on. 128, isn't it? Let's do the next one. This takes me to halfway. 160, that's halfway, because 32 times 10 is 320. 160 is half of 320. So I just put a circle around the answers. I've got 5 of them. Let's see if 5's enough. 32 into 1 is 0 carried a 1. 32 into 17, 0 carried a 17. 179 I need. That says 160. But I actually think it's enough because the next one will be bigger. The next one's too big anyway. It's 192. So 160 is enough. I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which uses 160 of my 179 up. And the remainder for that will be 19, won't it? The remainder is 19, so we get 192. That's very nice because that's the sixth one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That worked nicely, and our answer is 56. Question 19. 456 grams times 5. That's just 456 times 5. 5 times 6, 30. 5 times 5, 25 plus 3, 28. 5 times 4, 20 plus 2, 22. And this is grams, 2,280 grams. If I'm going to put grams into kilograms, you don't have to. This is fine for your answer. If I'm going to put it in kilograms, you divide by 1,000, and it's 2.280 kilograms. You don't need the zero in this second part. 2.28 kilograms would be your kilograms answer. Finally, we get to question 20. 4 take away 75. We can't do that, can we? Because 4 litres and 75 millilitres. So let's put the 4 litres as 4,000 millilitres, which is what it is. 4 litres is 4,000 millilitres. Then we can take away the 75 millilitres quite easily. I don't need to tell year 6 how to do all this subtraction work. 3,925 millilitres, that's the answer. If you wanted to do it in litres, it's 3.925 litres because you divide it by 1,000, because there are 1,000 millilitres in a litre. Let's look at the answers. Last one was scored 3,925. Check your answers. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you again on the next one. Pause if you need to pause the video here, of course, as I'm sure you are.